feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
855-450-3733, or hop on Skype, which is where we had Rodger Paxton just a moment ago. You'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us on either Skype or our Discord chat. The Skype username that you want to connect to is lrn.fm, and the Discord chat is over at discord.lrn.fm. If you want to connect to us that way, you can go and join the on-air call-in line room there on Discord. And apologies, we were kind of rushing. The cam computer was down when we started the show, or it needed to be rebooted, and I forgot to start the cam, so apologies to anybody who was wanting to see us on Twitch. You missed out on that first half hour. And by the way, we won't be able to be streaming from the campground, just so you know, when we are at Porcfest coming up here in a couple of weeks from tonight. You're going to hear us. We're going to be talking about the Porcfest, which is, you can go to forkfest.party if you want to learn more about that. But we're going to be recording the show out there because it's really hard to get a good, reliable connection on this campground, and it's just easier for us to do it. I think
it's probably true on most campgrounds, but yeah.
Yeah. So, by the way, speaking of good internet connections, Blink Home Security. If you've got an internet connection at home, then you want to have a home security system like Blink, because it's wireless, first of all. When you get the Blink Home Security System, it's like the easiest thing you could possibly put together, because there's no running wires, there's no drilling holes, there's no running, pulling things through walls and all that. You just open the boxes, put the batteries in the cameras, put the cameras wherever you want them around your home. You plug the hub in. There's one wire in the system. It's the power cable for the hub. And the cameras themselves are, again, on batteries. And so whenever you set it up to operate, it will send you wirelessly via the internet your clips of whatever it is that happens in front of the camera. So wherever you are, if you've got your phone with you, you'll be able to see if something's going on at home. Maybe it's in the middle of the day, or maybe in the middle of the night. Wherever it is you are, you're going to get that information from the Blink Home Security System.
Also, you can check in on your house at any time you want.
Yeah,
or office. This is just as good for an office.
I would say a small office. You don't want to put this in a huge warehouse or something like that.
Probably not.
Blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. That gets you 15% off. And the price already is affordable, so you save an extra 15% by going to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Coming up, the latest on New Jersey Weedman. That's on the way. But first, we go to Tom. He's in New Hampshire. And, of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind here on the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, the Phoenix police are investigating after well-known forensic psychiatrist Dr. Stephen Pitt was shot and killed outside his office Thursday night. And he was in some high-profile cases, and they're investigating. But let's take a look at my hypothesis here, okay?
Okay, we've got a hypothesis.
On December 13th, 2005, this is a fact, a man was lured into a session with Kathy M. Godby, licensed clinical social worker, and she suspected him of this thought crime they've got. They can't lock you in jail for thinking things that bureaucrats don't want you to think. Instead, they locked him up and drugged him for thinking. It's called suicidal ideation.
Ooh,
and
okay.
This was on December 14th, 2005. he was locked up and drugged.
So wait a minute, hold on. Before you tell the rest of the story, how did this guy end up in this psychiatrist's office in the first place?
He was lured into a session with a licensed clinical social worker.
What does that mean? He was lured in. What is that? How was he lured?
Well, the cops were talking to him about what he's been doing lately and trying to get dates with these ladies and crossing the line or whatever. And they talked him into going to see the shrink. And he got him locked up, and he got drugged. And, of course, you know how it is. Then they say, well, do you want to get committed or do you feel better now? And I guess he said he felt better. So then, but you want to see just how much better he felt. Just look at what he did on April 16th of 2007 at Virginia Tech, where the body count stands at 33. See, because I guess maybe he didn't like being locked up and drugged.
Okay, hold on. So wait. Maybe you're going to tie this together, but you started out by talking about a forensics expert who was shot and killed in Arizona, and now you're talking about the Virginia Tech shooter?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, the way I'm tying this together is maybe the forensic psychiatrist in Arizona picked the wrong guy to try a similar stunt or sign off on getting somebody locked up and drugged who didn't want to get locked up and drugged. And so then the victim later went back and, took out the psychiatrist instead of going out and killing a bunch of innocent people.
Is there evidence that the forensic expert was getting people involuntarily committed? That doesn't seem like what a forensics person does.
This is the forensics. They also testify, in court cases, and
right.
So I'm suspecting that maybe this guy picked the wrong person to lock up and drug, and maybe that's why.
Well, I don't see any real evidence for that. I mean, you're completely speculating. I mean, it's total speculation. If anything, it would be much more likely that this guy would have put somebody away with the evidence that he presented in a court of some alleged crime,
right?
And then maybe somebody was mad about that. But
you can create an enemy that way too.
Yeah.
There's a variety of ways to create enemies. The first thing you do is look for immediate family, right? Like husband, wife, that sort of thing. Then you look at extended family. Then you look at enemies that have been made and that sort of thing. And it's possible they made an enemy, but you look at all the millions of people that are in the United States in prison. Very, very few of them get out and harm the person or persons that put them in.
Tom, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. But he does bring up the issue of involuntary commitment, which, that's a tough one. It really is. Especially for, I think, people of a libertarian mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this has come up before, and it'll probably come up again. As a liberty-minded person, you tend to believe that aggressive force should not be used against peaceful people. That, the only time you should use force is in defense of yourself or loved ones or, even a total stranger, but self-defense and defense of others. And when you come across a situation with somebody who is crazy, the same rules don't really seem to fit those situations.
Right.
Because when somebody is out of their mind, there's not really much reasoning that you can do with that person. You can physically remove that person from your property, but there's no reason why they won't come right back.
Mom, or something like that.
Sure, it could be a loved one.
It's a loved one, and at which point you're using force, but in the sense it's like, well, I want you to come back and I want you to be well, but you're not.
You're not well right now.
We need to do something, and. If somebody's doing something for the right reasons, I tend.
Well, but there's a big, I think I would say risk or possible Pandora's box of opening that when you say we're doing it for your own good, right? Like maybe you are, but that's an excuse that can be used in a lot of circumstances where the person may not agree that it was for their own good in the long run or even in the short run, and would they have...
any kind of evil can be perpetrated in the name of trying to do something good.
Right.
But I can tell you, my wife had a situation where she had to do something with a family member, and it wasn't pleasant, but it had to be done.
Yeah, I understand that. I've had that happen to me when I went insane for a short time, and then I had a situation where I had to deal with an insane person who was on my property, and very similar situation. Had to, a group of us had to try to work with this guy to cool him down and keep him from doing stupid things and hurting himself and all that, and eventually he had to get put in a hospital. And it's not something that I don't think anybody should take lightly. And maybe there are people out there who do take it lightly, and they just, will call the cops on their family members if they don't like them or whatever. Certainly, we've heard stories like that. So this process can absolutely be abused. How could it be better? I honestly don't know. If you want to weigh in, you're certainly welcome to do so. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And then there's all the peaceful people that are put into prison cells against their will, who are not crazy, like New Jersey Weedman, who's now spent 400-plus days in jail. Turns out he wasn't guilty. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll tell you more about his case, and your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome on whatever's on your mind. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. Tony Wright is a perfect example of the power of DNA. The Innocence Project litigated for almost 6 years to get the court's permission for DNA testing. Tony had been incarcerated for nearly 25 years in Pennsylvania and narrowly escaped the death penalty. Tony's case, sadly, is not unique. Empowered with the unequivocal proof of innocence provided by DNA technology, the Innocence Project has litigated hundreds of wrongful conviction cases, leading to the exoneration and freedom for more than 180 people through DNA testing. Overall, there have been 356 DNA exonerees in the United States who were wrongfully imprisoned for more than 4,875 years in total. You can help support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry in the New York City Marathon by going to run.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the toll-free number, which is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. And then there's also our Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm. The Discord, by the way, for those of you who are unfamiliar, and I was pretty much unfamiliar until about 6 months ago, is a chat service that was originally created for gamers to have like real-time chat with one another while they're playing games. And turns out it's actually a really good chat platform as well. And we used to have a chat room a long time ago on IRC. Technically, it's still there, which is Internet Relay Chat. It's like one of the oldest things on the internet, IRC chat. And that was kind of taken over by trolls, and nobody really paid any attention to it. So figured we'd try something new, something more modern as far as chatting is concerned. Turns out a lot of our listeners want to talk to each other.
It's a better experience, yeah.
Yeah, so you go to discord.lrn.fm. There are multiple channels, so only that top channel is for calling in. All the rest of them are for just chatting. So there's also voice chat channels. So there's text chat and there's voice chat. Sometimes after the show, some of our listeners will actually get into a voice chat with each other, but mostly it's text chat.
There's 100 people online there right now.
Yeah, I don't know if all of them are chatting, but there are some people are lurkers, right? So what percentage of them are actual people who will type a message in versus just watch? But there's a fair amount of people who participate every single day over on our Discord. The Free Talk Live channel, of course, during our show, you'll find a lot of activity there. But there are also other channels, everything from cryptocurrency to gaming to a channel about New Hampshire, the upcoming Porcfest, and others. So go and get interactive with Free Talk Live hosts. Some of the hosts go there. I'm there pretty much every single day, all day. And Mark, you've got an account there as well. And then there's also, most of them are listeners of the show. Some of the callers, you'll recognize some of the names like Gene the Christian Anarchist and many others who regularly call the program. So it's kind of interesting to watch people who normally we just interact with on the air actually interacting with each other. And it's free, so you can go to discord.lrn.fm. There are apps that you can download. You can get them for Windows, Mac, Linux. You can get them for iOS and Android. And there's also a web version, so if you don't want to download an app, you can just use it through their website. Discord.lrn.fm. Let's go to the story. Big news for a big guy, New Jersey Weedman, somebody who we've been following here on Free Talk Live for years. In fact, we've had him on as a guest a couple of times. Have never had the pleasure of actually meeting New Jersey Weedman, because he's New Jersey Weedman, not New Hampshire Weedman, unfortunately. But he's
quite an activist, though.
He is a huge activist down there. Like, when it comes to cannabis activism, he is the man in New Jersey. Like, he's got the biggest profile, and of course, when you're an activist with a big profile in an issue like drug legalization,
they try to take you down.
They are going to try their best to ruin your life, and they have tried to ruin New Jersey Weedman, a.k.a. Ed Fortune's life. However, he's been found not guilty in his most recent trial. According to NJ.com, most people released from a county jail emerge clutching their personal possessions or maybe even carrying them in a bag. NJ Weedman Ed Fortune walked out of the Mercer County Corrections Center just before sunset Thursday evening, pulling a cart stacked with papers and binders accumulated from his 2 criminal trials. He was acquitted of witness tampering just hours before. A small gathering of
witness tampering. You don't hear that every day.
Nope.
Usually mobsters are, charged with that.
A small gathering of supporters greeted him with gifts. He smoked one of those gifts in front of the jail's sign. Then he got into a car with his girlfriend Debbie at the wheel, lit up another, and went on Facebook Live. Debbie also broadcast his release moments earlier.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't behind the wheel.
Correct. Fortune said as she drove, quote, "I can't believe I'm out. I can't believe you're actually sitting there," he said, or she said rather, and leaned over to kiss him. For the next 10 minutes, he smoked and talked about getting out of jail and the change his eyes underwent. He now wears glasses during his 15 months behind bars. He suspects the spectacles he needs is not from being able to smoke weed in jail. He did shout-outs to fans that he knew by name.
Is there any kind of science behind the notion that your vision's going to get worse unless you have... I mean, I've heard glaucoma, but I don't really know anything else.
I don't know. He did shout-outs to fans that he knew by name, and the broadcast was interrupted by people calling his phone. One asked to smoke with him. He says, "I got a lot of making up to do," he replied. They then went to Red Lobster. He loves fish, and Fortune nodded off at the table, exhausted. Before that, and on Friday at a press event, he'd called at his shuttered restaurant in Trenton. The litigious Weedman was also talking about starting up his weed activism and filing legal action about the 447 days he spent incarcerated during his 2 witness tampering trials. A Mercer County judge denied several times his motions to get out of custody.
Yeah, this is the thing so you got witness tampering here, which depending on the situation, a person doesn't necessarily need to be in jail. Remember, jail is the punishment that they give you when they find you guilty. To put you in jail ahead of time is pre-punishment, unless you're in a situation where either you're violent and dangerous to society.
He's not violent.
Or you're, an extreme flight risk.
He's not a flight risk. He's shown up to every court case he's ever had.
Right.
He wanted to fight this. He wanted to get a jury verdict on this. He wanted to go for jury nullification on his other so-called crimes where they raided his restaurant. They raided his church. He had a church and a restaurant. And we'll get into more of the story here. Let's go to your calls and thoughts because there is definitely a lot more to Weedman's story. Let's talk, though, first to Dan. He's listening in Virginia to WNIS. Hello, Dan.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I just was listening to, I guess it was an ad between your breaks about somebody running a marathon.
Yeah.
For support for Innocence.org or whatever it was.
The Innocence Project. You're talking about our friend and co-host Daryl W. Perry, who is going to be running at the New York Marathon, and he's fundraising to try to raise, I think, $3,000 at least for the $3,500 for the Innocence Project, which is a group that actually helps people who've been incarcerated wrongly try to overturn their verdicts.
Yes, that's what I'm calling about.
Yeah. What about it?
Great answer, because I just had never heard of it before, and it really attracted my attention, and it kind of went by. So I guess I'm asking if you can give me some more information, a little bit slower, because I would really like to be a part of that.
Yeah. So if you go online, you can visit their website. It's innocenceproject.org. So that's innocenceproject.org. And they've got a lot of information there about some of the success stories that they've had and the various different exonerations that that they've helped people get out of prison.
And they're trying to help people now too.
Yeah. And so they obviously need funding.
So they're like they're a group of attorneys or people that are actually going to bat for people that are in jail.
Correct.
That have no business being there.
That's right. As many as they can, right? Awesome. Like they can't take every case, but as many as they can take on. They have a number of DNA exonerations according to their website, 356. Number of alternative perpetrators identified, 153. So they've actually helped find the actual criminals in some cases where people were wrongfully imprisoned.
Yeah, one of these things that really bothers me about the death penalty is that, they've found that the wrong people were in jail 300-something times, and that they could actually find with, some good science, 150 bad guys out there, and the monopoly justice system that we have has stopped looking. They found their bad guy. They got somebody put in jail on death row, and they're not looking anymore. And that person's going to be executed. So, people that claim killing somebody is a bad idea are going to then kill somebody. It's crazy.
Well, they probably play God better than we do. I never was very good at that role.
I suspect nobody is. Leave that to God.
I suspect nobody is either.
So, Dan, I hope that helps you. Anything else you want to share tonight?
It is, and I'm gonna go online, and I'm going to be a part of that. I'm gonna help him get to his $3,500 goal, because that is, the way this justice system works in this country. If you don't have any money, and I can tell you this, I had a construction company, and they just line these guys up and give them pleas and put them on work release. And if you don't got the money for somebody to go to bat for you, it doesn't matter.
You're done for.
It doesn't matter. The justice system is screwed.
Yeah,
that's why the weed guy probably wanted a jury
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
If anybody actually heard the story, they probably let him go.
Dan, by the way, I want to let you know innocenceproject.org is their website, but our co-host Daryl, he is raising money on he's got a fundraiser page for that. So if you want to donate to his fundraiser, which will all go to the Innocence Project, his fundraising page is run.freetalklive.com. So that'll take you right to his fundraising. Yeah, run.freetalklive. Free Talk Live is our site. That's our website. So run.freetalklive.com. So when you go to innocenceproject.org and you learn more about them and you feel like you want to support them, then you can donate to run.freetalklive.com. Thanks for the call tonight, Dan. I appreciate it. And we'll continue to hear your calls and thoughts. More about Weedman, New Jersey Weedman, who is innocent. Of course, he's never actually harmed anybody in the first place, but yet has spent more than 400 days in jail awaiting trial where he was found not guilty.
Or you can just call it and tell me why you think the death penalty is a really good idea.
Sure, we can talk about the death penalty as well if you like. And you can take control of the airwaves also. Bring up whatever you want here. Hour number 2's next. Live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live continues.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of June 2nd to 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,293 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $30, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,493. Antiwar.com reports Friday's UN Security Council meeting saw votes on 2 Gaza resolutions failing, with the United States vetoing a resolution from Kuwait calling for the international protection of Palestinian civilians, and the alternative U.S. resolution failing outright. U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley promised the veto on Thursday, saying that the resolution was morally bankrupt and amounted to a threat to the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. In the past 2 months, Israel has killed 122 Palestinians and wounded over 13,000 others in Gaza. The Kuwait resolution was heavily supported and would have passed without the U.S. veto. There were no other no votes, though 4 nations did abstain. The U.S. managed to get its own resolution, which insisted all the deaths were the fault of Hamas and Islamic Jihad, to the table for a vote as well. The U.S. resolution went poorly, with the U.S. as the only yes vote and the other 11 countries abstaining outright. This has been described as a particularly humiliating failure for the United States, as they did not even get a token yes vote from a single ally. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports hourly employees will soon earn more at Costco, the latest company to raise its minimum hourly wage in an effort to hire and retain quality workers in a tight U.S. job market. Costco said Thursday that 130,000 employees will get a boost in pay to $14 or $14.50 per hour. Others will see raises between 25 and 50 cents per hour when the new rates take effect on June 11th. Costco said the pay hike is owed to last year's federal tax overhaul, which lowered the corporate tax rate. Costco said it will use the savings to invest in its workforce. Data released Friday showed U.S. unemployment at its lowest point in nearly half a century, something that forces large companies like Costco to compete for talent in industries with high turnover. Costco's move is the latest in a years-long national campaign by workers and advocates to hike the hourly minimum wage. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports the Texas Supreme Court affirmed on Friday that the state must reveal the source of the drugs it uses for executions. The court rejected the state's argument that doing so could lead to physical harm of the supplier and impede lethal injections. Ever since the sales ban of lethal injection drugs by major pharmaceutical companies a few years ago, most states have kept the suppliers of their drugs secret. This has prompted lawsuits on behalf of death row inmates arguing that prisoners could be subjected to unconstitutional suffering from faulty drugs and lethal injection mixes from questionable suppliers. The Texas Supreme Court on Friday affirmed a May 2017 decision by an appellate court that said there was not enough compelling evidence provided by the state to show that there was a substantial threat of physical harm. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice said in a statement that it intends to file a motion with the court for a rehearing. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, the state of Texas has executed 551 people since capital punishment was reinstated in 1976, 37% of all U.S. executions, and more than triple any other state. Texas has also been one of the few states in the country able to procure a steady supply of execution drugs. In 2016, pharmaceutical company Pfizer joined a sales ban imposed years earlier by major European drug makers that did not want their products used in executions due to ethical concerns. This caused many states to scramble for suppliers and a few to suspend executions due to the lack of drugs. Although 31 states have the death penalty, only 8 have held execution since Pfizer's decision, which cut off the last major U.S. source for drugs in the lethal injection mixture. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Readers rejoice! This week, Amazon unveiled the Kindle Flare, the latest model of their popular e-reader. The improved device has the ability to loudly and repeatedly announce the title of the book you're reading so everyone knows how smart you are.
Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut.
The hot new e-reader includes a massive catalog of titles, a sleek, easy-to-use interface, and a loud, clear voice that barks the name and author of your book on a loop. Amazon says the repetitive shouting is a small feature that makes a big difference. Readers say that with crystal clear 150 decibel stereo speakers, the Flare provides the most conspicuous reading experience yet. When you're not reading, the Flare automatically switches into bookshelf mode, which conserves power and reads off a list of everything on your Kindle.
Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, a confederacy of dunces.
And Amazon's competition has also stepped up their game as Apple released a new iPad that whispers, "I have an iPad," over and over again.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. How would you feel if you spent 400 plus days incarcerated, awaiting trial, and then were found not guilty? Well, that's what happened with New Jersey Weedman. We've got the story here from NJ.com. That's coming up here. It's a case we've been following for a while here on Free Talk Live, and it's just a saga, this ongoing saga with him versus the New Jersey and the Trenton city governments. Toll-free number if you want to join us. By the way, it's Ian and Mark in the studio. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can also call us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. And we've got Discord, where there's an on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm.
It's not just it's not just New Jersey Weedman. It's not just New Jersey. There's something terribly wrong with the U.S.'s criminal judicial system, the criminal process. When a man who has a constitutional right to a speedy trial is held for 400 and how many days?
I don't know.
Like 450 days.
Yeah, a lot.
Without a conviction. He's not found guilty of anything.
Yeah,
this is simply an arrest for a nonviolent crime.
Yep.
Held in jail. Can't get a bond. Can't even be, like, he's not even offered a bond. It's not like he can't make the bond. He's not offered it. And forget.
All because he had a restaurant where he let people smoke weed and a church where he let people smoke weed, which happened to be right across from the police station in downtown Trenton.
All those things are true, but what I'm trying to do is illustrate what's wrong with America's judicial system. Yeah. I mean, there are people right now, the punishment for being found guilty in court, doing something criminal, is jail. But they put people in jail before these things happen. It just shouldn't be that way. But
unless, like you said, there's a flight risk.
Sure, flight risks, people that are dangerous to society, that, like a violent crime, looks like they're going to commit more violent crimes or something like that. Oh, okay. But jail should be a last resort.
Right.
But it's not.
That's why they have house arrest. They've got GPS tracking. They've got all kinds of options to keep somebody out of a jail.
Jail is the foregone conclusion for pre-trial confinement. And that's a problem. That is unfair. Plus, the Constitution says that we have a right to a speedy trial, but it doesn't define what a speedy trial is. The United States Supreme Court needs to come down and say what a speedy trial is, and they need to do it right away. A speedy trial, to my mind, is 30 days.
They don't do anything right away. We'll get back into the story because there's a lot more to talk about with New Jersey Weedman, but we'll also take your calls first, where we go to Larry in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Larry.
How you doing, boys?
Hey, good.
I've been an activist for about 30 years, right? So I've seen a lot of statutory schemes develop in our state house and other ordinances passed in support of those statutes. But now when you go to a public meeting here, you had better watch yourself, because what they do is they put a police officer on you, and if you should bump into him or do anything, that's a Class D felony they can hold you on. So if you're exposing anything that they don't want exposed, they won't even let you have 2 minutes before the deputy sheriffs come and stand up there by you. And the minute you say something they don't like, they attack, and then you get charged with battering a police officer.
Did this happen in Indianapolis recently?
That's right here in Indianapolis at the city council. You can watch some of the old council meetings where I went to testify on certain issues, right? And when I was testifying, the president had two sheriff deputies standing right up there with me. Well, I don't blame the sheriff deputies for that, because I know most of them. But the thing about it is they are making it harder and harder for another view to be expressed in these, what is supposed to be an assembly room where they are passing laws and so forth that tell us how to conduct our lives. Also at the State House this year is unprecedented. I was over there protesting. I had a sign that simply said lies. And what I was doing is when the governor or a House Pro Tem or a speaker would come out to give their little speeches to the special interest groups when they were on the stage, I was just holding the lie sign up.
Nice.
Well,
I like that.
That worked under three governors. Mike Pence, it worked with him. It worked with Mitch Daniels. It worked with O'Bannon. They took the lie sign, right? But this new governor, he had the state police come to me and say, "Hey, Larry, come on, let's go," because he didn't want the lie sign. I mean, if you can't go into a political situation
Whoa. What happened? Wait. Stop. I want you to tell the rest of that story, because I agree with you. You absolutely should be able to express yourself, and you're fully within your rights to do that. When they said, come on, Larry, let's go, what did you do?
He said, come on, let's go. Then I knew, because I told him, because I have a costume I wear, it's a slave shirt and blackface. And while I was in there, and he, when he said that, because I know those officers, right? They don't do anything unless they're told to do it, right?
Generally.
So I told them, hey, when you tell me to leave, I'm going to leave. I'm a slave, right? So when they told me to leave, I went ahead and went with them, and he walked me out the back door because he didn't want me to go through the crowd.
See, that's when I would have pulled out my video camera and said, could you say that again for me?
No, but it doesn't do you any good, because what they do is, well, it may do you good, but I didn't have my video camera at the time. But what they do is they get you in jail on trumped-up charges, right? And you end up staying in there where your house and property is vandalized and burglarized and everything, and your business goes to hell.
They've got the ability to ruin your life. There's no doubt about it. And Larry, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. And I don't blame anybody for backing down in the face of a thug who's going to do that, who's going to take you away and put you in a cage like they did with New Jersey Weedman. I don't blame anybody for backing down, but at the same time, if you truly believe in freedom of speech, then that means you got to stand on your rights when that freedom of speech is threatened. So if you want to continue having the freedom of speech, then if you're in a public place at the State House holding a sign and some government goon comes up to you and says, "You're coming with me," or you gotta leave, or whatever. That's when you pull out the video camera. And if you don't have a video camera, think for a moment. You probably have a cell phone. Every cell phone has a video camera on it. So learn your cell phone. Learn how to use the video camera portion of it. Cell 411, by the way, is a great app for this at getcell411.com. It's like an emergency alerts app where you can let your friends know when something bad's happening to you, like a cop harassing you. And then it also lets you do live streaming video of whatever it is that's happening. So if a cop ever comes up and says something like that, and you're within your rights, that's a perfect time to pull up that phone, start running Cell 411, send an alert, and start the live stream, and then say, "Excuse me, can you say that again for the record, officer?" Make sure that he knows that he's being recorded saying what it is that he's saying, because that move alone could change how that interaction plays out. Now, to be clear, it could change it for the worse, okay, because sometimes cops don't like being recorded and they might get violent with you, but it's in my experience, it is less likely that they will get violent and more likely that they will change their approach or go away entirely.
It sounds like Larry does this on the regular. He's a an activist.
Which is why he should be prepared.
But to him, what he's trying to do, he creates a relationship with the officers, and
I'll do it to an officer I have a relationship with.
He's got bigger game that he's going after. He's looking for these politicians and these sorts of things. He's got
but if you turn tail and run every single time a cop comes and says you got to go, then you're not doing what you're there to do.
Well, honestly, he's set up really great for a lawsuit because
not without evidence.
Right. Once he gets the camera, once he gets the video, somebody else gets the video of him being just taken off of courthouse property, city hall lawn or whatever, while he's protesting. I mean, that's gold.
Which is even better.
Somebody do this to me. Unfortunately, I don't go spend the kind of time doing the protesting, so these things don't happen. But man, oh man, this is a lawsuit.
It could be. And it would help him if he also had an associate there who could just be a dedicated cameraman, somebody who would be a little bit quicker on the trigger as far as pushing the record button, that kind of thing.
It's hard to do the interaction and...
It's harder, for sure. It can be done, but it is easier if you've got a professional, somebody who knows how to run a camera and is happy to help you and there with you. Which is why if you want to see more freedom in your lifetime, you can't do it as a lone wolf. You can try, but you really ought to have backup. You really ought to. If you're a libertarian, and I know Larry's not.
It's hard to keep a bunch of friends around you when you got blackface on and a slave T-shirt. And,
Larry's an actual black man, is what.
Yeah. Well, he said blackface.
He meant he has a blackface. No, he's okay. We've had Larry calling for years. He's a black guy in Indianapolis. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways.
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition of the program. As always, we're here to take your calls about whatever's on your mind. We in the studios, Ian.
And me, Mark.
And also want to make sure you know about Zencash. If you are interested in cryptocurrency and you love liberty and good economics and privacy, then you really ought to take a close look at Zencash because they've got some of the best technology built into Zencash. It's relatively new crypto, by the way. It started last year, 2017. It's got privacy in the form of zero-knowledge anonymity, so some of the best tech out there. It's also, they're working on decentralized autonomous organizations. I'm not sure where they're at with that, but they're working on that. And then there's also already a large number of participants with over 11,000 secure nodes in the system, which means they've got more secure nodes than Bitcoin has full nodes in their system. So you want to talk about one of the most secure cryptos on the planet? Look at Zencash. Go to zencash.com and learn more about it there. It was also started with good philosophy behind it. The people who created Zencash are self-proclaimed voluntarists. They actually wrote in voluntarism into the white paper of Zencash. You can see it for yourself and learn more over at zencash.com. That's zencash.com as we go and continue with your calls and thoughts. More on the New Jersey Weedman and his not guilty verdict. It is a victory, but it's a tough one, given that he spent more than 440 days in jail pre-trial. Let's go first, though, to Vernon in New Orleans. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark. Hello.
Hey, it's Vernon.
Hey, Vernon. You're on the air.
Hey, I had a question. So I know you all take these what-if questions about being in a libertarian society. So let's pretend that I have a large piece of private property, and I make some really crazy rule that is unreasonable, that if you, let's just say if you trespass, I can apply the death penalty to you because you trespassed on my private property in libertarian society. How would that work? I mean, I'm just curious.
This is similar to the what if a little girl comes on to your, you're out to your front lawn is picking flowers, like a 4-year-old girl picking flowers, and do you have the right to kill her, right? And
because trespassing,
right? And when you're talking about 7 billion people, 8 billion people on the planet, one of them is nutty enough to do this. So many of these questions are off the wall and crazy, but hey, it could happen, right?
There are so-called libertarians who advocate this sort of maximalist, I don't know if that's the right term, but where they can just take whatever the response is to whatever the trespass or thing that's happening and go to the maximum, and I don't think it's sane.
Well, it also isn't. It isn't orthodox. Okay, so from the libertarian ideas, liberty simply what we're talking about here is simply competition in governance, right? Organizations being able to compete for your business in the area of government and providing governance. None of those organizations is going to say it's acceptable to shoot kids that come on your property and pick flowers.
Probably not, but what if you lived in a society where the majority of people believe that? Then it would be, right? And that'd be a dangerous place to raise a small child.
Right, that's where and people would leave that society.
Right.
It wouldn't be a society anymore because people would exit it in droves.
Presumably,
and also what would happen is what would happen today if for whatever reason what looked like basically an act of war was perpetrated by one governing organization against the people of another governing organization. There would be a war. If somebody did this, let's say they decided I don't want a government, I'm gonna wing it on my own. Somebody out there doesn't have fire insurance on their house, so this certainly will happen. And they set up this rule, and the kid comes on, they do whatever. These people are outlaws. They have no organization to protect them, so they have to protect themselves. So not only do they have to be able to be willing to execute children for picking flowers, they also have to be in possession of a nuclear warhead in order to protect themselves. And
what?
Well,
a warhead?
What do you think's going to happen when a small posse of the parents of this child's friends get together? They're going to go over that person's house.
I doubt they've got a warhead.
No, they're going to go over to this person's house and kill them, and that means that they have to have superior weaponry. And I'm just talking about the arms race to the top here.
Gotcha.
And a nuclear warhead, I believe, is not a defensive weapon, is not protected by the Second Amendment or the right to keep and bear arms, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, mostly this person would be executed by their society is what my claim is the murderer would be executed.
So does a libertarian society, every time y'all talk about these things, it sounds like it's either the Wild Wild West or the mafia that's going to, extort you if you don't pay a certain fee for a certain service. And,
isn't that what we have now?
If they don't do that.
Isn't that what we have now? Where there's a group called the government, a.k.a. the mafia, that flies flags in front of its offices.
But my legs aren't going to be broken. I mean, I might end up in jail. And I might, I might lose my property, but I'm not going to.
What if you don't want to go to jail?
2 broken legs with a. I'm sorry.
What if you don't want to go with them to the jail?
Good point. I mean, I guess I'd rather have a reasonable punishment for these things versus
you mean like
having
400
mafia.
days? And you mean like 447 days pre-trial in prison in New Jersey? Like New Jersey Weedman?
How would it be? Okay, so how would it be with Weedman in the utopian society? Would he be able to bond out? Who would pass judgment on him?
Well, first of all, the freedom isn't utopia. Okay, freedom from coercion, freedom from an institutionalized coercive government, which is all that we're talking about, is ending institutional coercion and having a voluntary, consensual-based society. If people actually believed in the right to private property. Because that's important. If we don't have people believing in property, then you don't have a real society, and it's going to be hell.
Right. I mean, there's everybody believes in property. They're just not entirely sure who owns it. Currently, the governments, whether they're state or federal or whatever, they're the ones who believe they own all the property. You just rent it from them.
Yeah. If people believed in property and they respected the property rights of others, then New Jersey Weedman would never have gone to prison because he would just be in his restaurant and in his church enjoying cannabis and food with his friends and people who wanted to come into those places. That's why they went after him.
You don't think somebody would have said, well, hey, I don't believe that it's cool that you smoke weed.
I don't care what they say.
Even though this isn't my property, I'm claiming this region as my region. And so, if you smoke this stuff, then I'm gonna arrest you on this authority that I made up myself.
Right. So now you're back to the issue of what happens when somebody uses violence against peaceful people in a society in which there is no monopoly on violence. Right. So that's what we're talking about: is getting rid of the government.
He's claiming a monopoly on violence is going to reoccur, and that could very well happen.
He asked the question of what would happen if somebody decided they didn't want anyone smoking weed nearby where they were and that they were willing to use violence. So you're talking about just an average person, not somebody who's got this sort of auspices of the state. This person does not have the illusion of legitimacy. Okay? And that's what the state has. That's why the state is the criminal gang that is so successful, because it has all these flags and voting and all this sort of dress up that it has put, all this window dressing that it's put around all of its violence. If there's just some dude coming in there with a gun in his hand saying, you better put that joint out, you are well within your rights to shoot that person dead on the spot because he threatened you with violence. And nobody looking at that situation from the outside would disagree with you, because they would know this is just a marauder who has come onto your property and attempted to tell you what to do at the point of a gun. That's what you do with somebody who points a gun at you, is you put them out of their misery.
So can I ask you all just one final question?
Sure.
And it kind of seems relative to this, what we're talking about, in that Free Talk Live through the Shire Free Church has kind of tried to buck the system with defining what a church is. And now we can argue about this all day, but honestly, is that similar to what we're talking about?
I'm not sure how talking about a church, if you want, hang on, Vernon, we can bring it back. I'm not sure what church definitions has to do with violence and property, but we can come back and talk about it. It's Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your AMP will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the program. You're invited to join us here on the radio. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, we'll continue the story about N.J. Weedman, a.k.a. Ed Fortune, who we've been following for years here on Free Talk Live. He is out of jail, found not guilty, after spending over 440 days in pretrial lockup. We'll tell you more about that. Ian and Mark in the studio here. Bitcoin.com, one of the longtime sponsors here on Free Talk Live. If you're new to Bitcoin, if you're new to cryptocurrency, there's no better place to go and get started and learn about the basics and maybe even get some Bitcoin. You can get Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Cash. It's up to you over at Bitcoin.com. And they've also got some of the news headlines day in, day out, fresh every single day over there at their news site at news.bitcoin.com. Once again, that's news.bitcoin.com. We go back to Vernon in New Orleans. Vernon, you were bringing up the Shire Free Church, which is the organization that runs Free Talk Live. But I wasn't really sure what you were driving at, so I wanted to give you a chance to kind of better express yourself or try again.
Sure, and I hope I am able to better express myself. So we were previously discussing in a pretend libertarian society, how somebody could basically make a fake region and define in that fake region what the laws of the land are and come on and enforce them. And so,
well, they couldn't. So that was your theory, and I explained to you why that would not stand, because people in a libertarian society believe in self-defense. And so if some thug comes in and tries to use violence to take over an area, those people in that area would be well within their rights to put that thug down.
And but he talked about a piece of land that he owned. The question is that if you want to turn your land into a giant
no, he was talking about doing it against other people's land and forcing his way upon them.
Yep, there's that
That's
too.
what he was talking about.
Well, he posited both of those things.
If you're on your own land and you create a set of rules rules for the people that come onto that land and they don't follow your rules, well, then that's, you can remove those people, but you shouldn't have the right to murder them over it. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. So, well, I was just saying, like in Cowboys or whatever, the mafia, they basically dictate those whatever rules they want. And so I was just, and it may be a terrible comparison, but in a way, it seems like the Shire Free Church is really trying to find a loophole in how to define a church, because traditionally churches are defined as large religious organizations that worship a deity. And I know we have freedom of religion, and I know that, we could argue this all day long, but it seems like that we're trying to twist again the societal norms that really dictate how we live currently. And now I applaud you all. I think it's an amazing thing, especially if you're able to, have the tax benefits and everything. And maybe that's a terrible comparison. I'm not making any sense, but
I guess my thoughts on this are, first off, Free Talk Live didn't create the Shire Free Church. That's inaccurate. The Shire Free Church acquired Free Talk Live. But to speak to your statement, I was actually convinced of this over time. This wasn't something that, I just thought of, wow, how can we dodge taxes? Nothing like that. Free Talk Live is a moral teaching organization. It's done through broadcast, but there's nothing new about that. Churches have broadcast. We talk about God on a relatively regular basis here on Free Talk Live, so that's not a big deal. We don't purport a special God. We don't say we have our own special religion with our own special God. We don't say that. But I would point out that Buddhism doesn't have a God at all. So you don't need a God in order to be considered in the eyes of the law a church.
Vernon, your definition of church is just wrong. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with being large. A church can be very small.
My Quaker meetings got 5 members.
Yeah, a church, as Jesus, I believe, defined it, is wherever 2 or more are gathered in his name. So, a church is not what you're thinking of. It's not necessarily these mega churches or even large buildings or whatever. You don't even have to have a building with a steeple on it to have a church. As Mark pointed out, we are a media ministry. And
I agree, but the government doesn't agree with you in that.
The heck it doesn't.
Yes, they do.
We fit every single one of the IRS's points.
Then why do you still pay property taxes on the house that you broadcast from if they don't agree?
It's a good question.
That's a different government. I thought you were referring to the United States.
Yeah, we thought you were talking about the federal government. So in order to defeat the city of Keene in this particular case on property taxes, it will take a court battle. And we just weren't prepared for that. We did not want to spend the time or the money funding that over the last few years. So that is why.
Yep, the city of Keene's not going to give up on that.
But from the IRS's perspective, we are a church, and there's no doubt about it.
Wonderful. Again, I would consider your organization more of a nonprofit, more of a charitable organization versus a church. But I can totally
you
see
don't know what a church
where you're
is.
defining it as a church.
No, you don't know. You're not defining church correctly. A church, in our case,
he's got a legal opinion.
Sure, and
so does the Supreme Court.
Your legal opinion's wrong.
Big whoop.
The church is, as Jesus pointed out, is wherever 2 or more are gathered in my name. And in our case, ours is a church that is what's called an interfaith church. And if you've never heard of that before, you can go look it up. Ours isn't the first one. I thank you for the call tonight, Vernon. Interfaith churches are where, in our case, in the Shire Free Church's case, people who are of different belief systems are allowed. The Shire Free Church is a peace church, so it's an interfaith church and it's a peace church, which means that if you are somebody who purports to be religious but believes in, war, for instance, then you are not welcome as a minister, for instance.
As a minister, you could certainly come. You can listen.
You can listen to the show. There's nowhere to come to because we don't have a building with a steeple.
But there are ministers, and they have locations. I mean, we have no evidence that there are no ministers with no locations.
Right, but it's a decentralized organization, so it may not be structured like the church you grew up in, meaning that there's nobody at the top. There's no church elders, so to speak, right? Like when I was growing up, it was a Presbyterian church in Florida, and they had the church elders, and then there's the priest or the pastor or whatever, and the assistant pastor and
the people
youth
handing
pastor.
around the money plate.
Yeah, so they have a very kind of hierarchical structure. There's no, requirement that a church have that same structure. So in our case, we wanted our church to be decentralized, meaning that each minister in the church will decide who to recognize as a fellow minister. So I can decide who I recognize as a fellow minister. Anybody who wants to can claim to be a minister in the Shire Free Church, but unless you're actually an advocate for peace, then from my perspective, you're not one of the ministers. So each individual gets to decide who the other ministers are that they recognize. And so while that may be different from what you're used to or how you were raised down in Louisiana, it doesn't mean we're not a church. Church is a place where people come to discuss their religious beliefs. And in our case, it's interfaith, which means everybody's welcome.
It's not just religion. It's also,
sometimes charitable
issues of the day.
Yeah.
Look, if your religion, whatever it is, your religion is your philosophy. Your philosophy affects your entire outlook on life. Your entire outlook on life affects the issues of the day and how you look at them. My belief is that God gave us free will, and no man can take it away. So, and your freedom ends at my nose, and my freedom ends at your nose. That's quite simple.
So if you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And that's one of the reasons why the Shire Free Church donated an entire building to Will Coley and for the purpose of creating a mosque, to create a mosque here in Keene, New Hampshire, which recently made it into the news again with another front page news article. Will had an excellent event this past Thursday evening called Iftar in the Park, which was the first public event that they've. I mean, obviously the mosque is open and anybody from the public can show up there, but this was the first event outside of that building that they had held, and it was you could call it a picnic. We were at the park, and there was delicious food that was brought by members of the Muslim community here locally, and anybody who wanted to could show up, and there was, of course, some speechifying by
all that stuff's great. Don't forget the orphanage that the Shire Free Church built over in Jinja, Uganda.
Yeah.
I mean, the evidence is. Yeah, the evidence is really good that the Shire Free Church is a church.
Yeah, the state police even referred to me as a minister in the church when they arrested me a few years ago. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We certify community service hours as well. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
You have been lied to, generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Star Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11. Through 9/11, you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Order now. You're killing Uncle Sam.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agoristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agoristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agoristhosting.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us on the radio here. Live Saturday edition of the show with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Mark.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Head over to freetalklive.com. Enjoy the features that we have for you. We've got a forum on which you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners and some of the hosts over at forum.freetalklive.com. That is where I've been posting my show prep over the last couple of weeks. Originally I was posting it on Facebook, but I left Facebook earlier this year. And then I was posting it to Twitch, but somebody suggested, hey, why don't you post it on your own forum? Like, great idea. So I'm doing that now over at forum.freetalklive.com. I tell you, Mark, we get some of the best ideas from our listeners. So I appreciate that. Anyway, you can go there. You can get interactive. It's not just about Free Talk Live. There's also a Porcfest forum there. There's cryptocurrency-related stuff. And it's most of it's focused on New Hampshire, but the Free Talk Live section isn't. It's just about Free Talk Live and LRN.FM. So head on over to, by the way, that's the Liberty Radio Network. So head over to forum.freetalklive.com. And if you're a Free Talk Live amplifier, and you send me a message on the forum letting me know what your AMP email address is, I will upgrade you and give you the Free Talk Live badge. So that will identify you as a Free Talk Live supporter on the forum over at forum.freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. We talk to Jerry next in Wisconsin. Jerry, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, great. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I've been listening somewhat to a little bit of what you're discussing. And
yes,
in my world, for instance, speaking of the church and defining church, that's unreal.
What's unreal?
I mean, what you're saying.
What do you mean?
It's okay. Well, what I mean is this. If you're white middle class, all right, with no problems with the law, you can intellectualize it and say, I have a church, I have 2 members, and blah, 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 blah. But, in my world, it doesn't work that way. And I'm black, and recent history, past history, it does not work that way. Look what happened in South Carolina.
Can you tell me what happened in South Carolina?
You tell me.
Well, it's a big
lots
state.
Of things. It's a big state.
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to the black congregation shot by this
that nut job.
Guy.
Okay. Sorry. It didn't come to my mind. I didn't know what you were talking about. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that's better anyway because I don't like the idea of just giving these people their names. Some guy walks into a black congregation, shoots up the place.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And, kills some people.
What's that have to do with this?
He's going to die in prison at this point. Terrible things have happened to them. I mean, what's that have to do with a church being a church, though?
Everything.
Okay, well, tell me
Explain
what.
Everything.
Give me a couple of points. Just
Number one,
elucidate for me.
It's a sacred it's the second place to be, church.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
D, it's a church.
Okay, what's a
Meaning
church?
That a church is a place where some people go to congregate to worship.
Worship whom? See, the law is specific. Right? Their God, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the law is specific that it's, that they started basically, talking about these things being churches, but according to the law, a mosque is a church and these sorts of things. So, whatever your Zoroastrians and their God.
In the real world, you're wrong because a mosque is not considered a church.
Well, you don't know what you're talking about. Legally, it's considered a church. Okay, they're all under the category of church. And we know a mosque.
What's a synagogue?
Huh?
What's a synagogue? What's a synagogue?
They're all, as far as the government's concerned, they're all churches.
Okay, great. So you're not talking legal. You're talking sort of real world.
Yeah.
Awesome. This broadcast is a church in the sense that we are discussing the idea of free will as it was given to man by God.
And peace.
But that's your belief.
It is a belief.
Churches are where people who have beliefs.
Does your minister not go up at least sometime during the year and discuss free will?
That's your belief.
No, I just asked you a question.
What's that?
Does your minister go up in front of the congregation at some point and discuss free will?
I don't have a minister.
Okay, well then I don't know what I'm talking about here. I don't have to address this.
Not everybody's going to talk about free will. Some people don't believe in that, Mark. A church is a place where people who have certain religious beliefs come together to discuss those beliefs, discuss their beliefs about the universe and God and all of those things. And these are things we've discussed here on Free Talk Live. We have a mission of spreading peace with the Shire Free Church, and that's one of our core tenets here on this program. So if you don't believe that a church can be a media ministry, well, that's your problem, but it doesn't mean we're not a church, so I don't really understand what you're saying.
Well, why does it have to be my problem?
You had an issue. You called in. You had an issue with what we were talking about, and you wanted to explain to us your beliefs about churches, and you're free to have them.
But why is that my problem when I don't agree with you? Why is that my problem?
Well, you have
obviously
a problem
have a
with
problem.
what we're doing, is what I think he's referring to.
If you didn't have a problem, you wouldn't have called in, right?
No, I find it interesting what you're saying.
Okay. It seemed like you were disagreeing. It sounded like you were very in a very disagreement.
But why
kind
is that? Why is that my problem? That's what I don't understand.
Fine, it's not your problem.
Let's leave the notion of problem.
You had a disagreement. How about that?
Well, all right. Let's be specific when you use words. Words are powerful.
I agree with you.
Go back to it.
I totally agree with you. And we're being very specific here. Was there anything else you wanted to share tonight, Jerry, about your beliefs?
So you're saying that I don't. In fact, it's not my problem. You're discounting that, right?
We already just said we're not going to use the term problem, so we put that one aside. Okay, you're right. You don't have a problem. You have a disagreement.
Right.
And that's okay.
Turn of phrase.
And you're free to have a disagreement. That's wonderful. That's one of the things that makes the world great, because not everybody agrees on everything.
That's right. I agree with that.
Thanks
so long
for the
as
call
we don't go to
Jerry.
jail over our disagreements.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And that's, one of the nice things about the United States is you do have the freedom to disagree, and you do have the freedom to have whatever religion that you want to have, or you should have that freedom.
Well, I mean, the right to conscience is something that has a very tenuous history in the United States. So, for instance, there are plenty of instances where people who don't want to go to war, Muhammad Ali is a really good example. This is a guy who clearly had a conscience issue when it came to the draft, and they put him in jail over it. So, I mean, you're free to disagree up to a point. You're free to talk about what you disagree about. You're not free to necessarily do anything about it. You're free to voice your disagreement. You're not free to live it.
When it comes to the government, they will put you in a cage if they disagree with you too much. Let's go to Chuck in Indiana, listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Chuck. You're on the air.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, go ahead with your thoughts.
You almost really tripped up when you were talking about that free will thing, man, because you can't forget that there's a large contingent of people that believe in predestination.
That's what I said. I said not everybody believes in free will.
I know.
I disagree with Mark on that. But there may be some pastors or preachers who do agree with it, but many people do believe that they're just here doing whatever it is that God wants them to do.
Most people that are going to make their discernment are going to believe in free will generally. They don't just think we're automatons going through our day or
Some
whatever.
people do believe that, though.
I think that there's and Scripture definitely makes reference to it. I mean, there's definite every hair on your head is counted and known.
Yeah, I don't see how predestination.
Not.
I don't see how predestination can't be. If you believe in a all-powerful, all-knowing God that exists outside of time, he created time. He's either the most powerful thing in the universe, because he created the universe and time and all these other things.
Or he's not God.
Yeah, the most powerful thing in existence, that's a better term, or he's not God. One of those two statements. And so if you believe these things, there's no way that predestination isn't the truth, if that makes sense. I don't believe that.
That makes sense. It makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, but now that we've completed our talk about church and now, because like you said, we've been a part of it, My question to you: you were, celebrating or at least focusing towards this gentleman who won his lawsuit, who's not in
Weedman.
jail today. Yep. I knew. I don't know who he is personally. I knew Mr. Hemp in Nashua when I lived in Massachusetts, and I consider myself a libertarian. But I really want to smack myself around because I found myself celebrating a little bit mentally this week as the president was speaking about right to try. And my question would be, how do you believe this is going to fall out in the battle over the legalization of cannabis?
So you're referring to, I believe, some legislation that was passed recently about the right to try experimental medications. Is that the issue that you're bringing up?
Yes, sir. That is exactly what I'm bringing up.
And so your question is, and if you want to, you can hang on for more discussion on this. The question is, will this affect people's ability to use cannabis? I believe that's what he was asking. So we'll come back and talk about that.
Seems likely.
Did Trump sign that? Did you?
Yeah, I think right to try passed. Yeah,
all right, that's good to know. I'm glad to hear about that. So there's more on the way here. Hour 3's next. You can take control at 855-450 free. It's Free Talk Live.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of June 2nd to 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,293 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $30, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,493. Antiwar.com reports Friday's UN Security Council meeting saw votes on 2 Gaza resolutions failing, with the United States vetoing a resolution from Kuwait calling for the international protection of Palestinian civilians, and the alternative U.S. resolution failing outright. U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley promised the veto on Thursday, saying that the resolution was morally bankrupt and amounted to a threat to the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. In the past 2 months, Israel has killed 122 Palestinians and wounded over 13,000 others in Gaza. The Kuwait resolution was heavily supported and would have passed without the U.S. veto. There were no other no votes, though 4 nations did abstain. The U.S. managed to get its own resolution, which insisted all the deaths were the fault of Hamas and Islamic Jihad, to the table for a vote as well. The U.S. resolution went poorly, with the U.S. as the only yes vote and the other 11 countries abstaining outright. This has been described as a particularly humiliating failure for the United States, as they did not even get a token yes vote from a single ally. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports hourly employees will soon earn more at Costco, the latest company to raise its minimum hourly wage in an effort to hire and retain quality workers in a tight U.S. job market. Costco said Thursday that 130,000 employees will get a boost in pay to $14 or $14.50 per hour. Others will see raises between 25 and 50 cents per hour when the new rates take effect on June 11th. Costco said the pay hike is owed to last year's federal tax overhaul, which lowered the corporate tax rate. Costco said it will use the savings to invest in its workforce. Data released Friday showed U.S. unemployment at its lowest point in nearly half a century, something that forces large companies like Costco to compete for talent in industries with high turnover. Costco's move is the latest in a years-long national campaign by workers and advocates to hike the hourly minimum wage. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports the Texas Supreme Court affirmed on Friday that the state must reveal the source of the drugs it uses for executions. The court rejected the state's argument that doing so could lead to physical harm of the supplier and impede lethal injections. Ever since the sales ban of lethal injection drugs by major pharmaceutical companies a few years ago, most states have kept the suppliers of their drugs secret. This has prompted lawsuits on behalf of death row inmates, arguing that prisoners could be subjected to unconstitutional suffering from faulty drugs and lethal injection mixes from questionable suppliers. The Texas Supreme Court on Friday affirmed a May 2017 decision by an appellate court that said there was not enough compelling evidence provided by the state to show that there was a substantial threat of physical harm. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice said in a statement that it intends to file a motion with the court for a rehearing. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, the state of Texas has executed 551 people since capital punishment was reinstated in 1976, 37% of all U.S. executions, and more than triple any other state. Texas has also been one of the few states in the country able to procure a steady supply of execution drugs. In 2016, pharmaceutical company Pfizer joined a sales ban imposed years earlier by major European drug makers that did not want their products used in executions due to ethical concerns. This caused many states to scramble for suppliers and a few to suspend executions due to the lack of drugs. Although 31 states have the death penalty, only 8 have held executions since Pfizer's decision, which cut off the last major U.S. source for drugs in the lethal injection mixture. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This week, the Forest Service rolled out a brand new Smokey the Bear campaign in which the popular mascot burns to death. They say they hope the shocking turn will get people serious about preventing forest fires for once. The new campaign depicts Smokey the Bear noticing a family leave a flame unattended. Before he can put it out, the entire forest is consumed and Smokey dies in agony while trying to fight the blaze. Despite educating the public for over 70 years, the Forest Service says wildfires have only gotten worse and it was time to take their warnings to the next level. The new ads aim to show that if Smokey the Bear can be killed by the very type of fire he works so tirelessly to prevent, it could happen to anyone at any time. So what's next for the long-running campaign? Well, now that their primary spokesperson is out of the picture, the Ad Council says the PSAs will shift focus to a new character named Little Brian. He's the boy whose family caused the fire in the first place, and he's grappling with crippling guilt over Smokey's death.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You can dial in toll free here and bring up whatever you want. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to get back into New Jersey Weedman if we get the chance and what's going on with his situation. He's been found not guilty, but if you're new to the story, then we're going to kind of share that with you and what happened to him. Because it's outrageous. Had to sit in prison and jail for 447 days awaiting trial to ultimately be found not guilty. We'll tell you more about that coming up here. But we got Chuck on the line in Indiana listening to WIBC. And Chuck, you'd called in about this news that I don't know if we talked about. Maybe they talked about it on Thursday night's show because I wasn't on that show this week on Free Talk Live. But the right to try, which is legislation that came through recently in D.C. to allow people, as I understand it, and I did not read the story on this, so Mark, if you know more, fill me in, but to allow people to try experimental medications without having to jump through insane FDA kind of approval hoops. Is that the idea?
Largely. I mean, I think, you still have to let them know.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Right, that is exactly correct, and I don't see how we could not equate cannabis, especially in a time where, and once again, this is where I get really torn as somebody who considers himself a libertarian, but where the opioid epidemic is rampant, and I don't believe in the use of heroin, but at the same time, I don't know that a man should probably spend the rest of his life in prison because he's using it, but the law is that these opioids have been able to be pushed for so long onto people, and now I can't see how this right to try should not open the door to the legalization of hemp and marijuana.
I think you're probably right, but I want to address opioids since you brought them up. First off, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and essentially there weren't that many heroin addicts back then. I'm sure that you would go to the big cities and you'd find some, but it wasn't all over America where people were addicted to heroin. There was certainly a crack cocaine scare as to the damage that drug does. There's a whole long discussion on that. But really the problem of the opioid epidemic came when doctors began prescribing it more and more as a painkiller because these big pharmaceutical companies were saying, hey, it's safe, it's a great idea, and all those sorts of things. And all this leads back to the veil of legitimacy that the FDA gives the doctors and the pharmacists and the pharmaceutical companies and all this stuff, because people think to themselves, well, my license to make a decision on my own when it comes to my medical health has really been taken away from me, and it's been given to these people. So I should listen to these people. They're the experts. Well, I got news for you. Those experts addicted America to heroin.
I would agree. I would kind of, maybe take a little bit of a side path to say that it was when they began to take away the opioids and the medication from the people, and that they turned to something else.
Sure, that too.
And
all
that
part
I think
of it.
is, and which and it gets into a bigger discussion too, because here we are in the longest war that the United States has ever fought, fighting against a group of people who had done their best to destroy the poppy fields. And now it seems as though the poppy is flowing freely, and heroin is being manufactured ad nauseum.
Sure, I mean, who can forget the pictures of the U.S. troops standing guard over poppy fields in Afghanistan?
I'll never forget that, especially when we deal with what we're dealing with today. However, and I grew up at the same time. I mean, not necessarily. I was born in 1970, so I wasn't necessarily raised in the 70s, but I knew the 80s, and I didn't know heroin. However, I became a member of Normal when I was 18, and I know that what I read about it and the legitimacy of the plant itself in all facets, just as a textile, as
It's interesting that you called about that, because one of the biggest guys on the face of the United States, at least as far as Free Talk Live is concerned, Dave in Montana, who has not called in forever.
No, he just called recently.
Just called in.
Yeah.
What was he on, Sunday with you or something? Okay, because I haven't heard him in a long time. So he's on. He's going to talk about hemp, I'm sure, because he always does. But Chuck, thanks for the call. Here's what I would have to say, though, about this. I have not read this legislation. Probably most of the people who voted for it haven't read it either. I'm just going to guess that right to try will probably only apply to companies who have a pharmaceutical that they are pushing. Not that you're going to just be able to...
I think it's doctors and treatments.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. I figured it'd been for big corporations or something like that.
Most states, at this point, a majority of states in the United States have marijuana legal for medicinal purposes.
That's true. More than 30 of them, 36 or something like that.
Right, and all the federal government is saying is that from a federal level, that's okay. I don't think that means anything to do with a state. So if a state outlaws marijuana, then it's still a problem.
All right, let's go to Dave in Montana. Hey, Dave.
Hey, yo, long live Free Talk Live, man.
It's been too long. At least, I guess you called Sunday, but I haven't heard from you in a while. So what's on your mind tonight?
49 years, I didn't need no stinking card to deal with the cannabis. I had my knee replaced 4 months ago today.
Yikes.
And them opioids I was on for 4 weeks, and I got off of them because of cannabis oil and cannabis and a little wine.
Nice.
And I got off the opioids.
Good.
So the cannabis helps out with the opioids a whole bunch.
I've heard a lot of people say that the cannabis is in some way therapeutic in dealing with an opioid addiction. I'm not saying you were addicted.
And especially if it got into technology's hands and they could concentrate it and make it a little more stronger and everything,
Well, they have. I mean, cannabis, you can get the wax. You can get the wax and the shatter, as they call it, these very concentrated forms of THC. Whether those are available in medical facilities in Montana, I'm not sure, but they are available in a variety of different states. But so I'm glad to hear you're doing better, Dave. You still pushing out there, pushing hemp freedom?
Oh yeah, you know it.
Awesome. Anything else you want to share with us tonight?
Just saying hello.
Can you tell us what hemp does for people?
Oh, I love that. You can clothe you. You could.
It could clothe you, feed you, house you, make fuel. It's medicine, jobs, 25,000 other uses.
No doubt. It's an amazing plant. It really is. And
it's the most useful plant on the planet. It outdoes soybeans. It outdoes wood, trees for the wood pulp.
That's why they wanted to get rid of it, right? Because the old industrialists hadn't invested in hemp. They'd invested in
pine trees,
in forests, in the case of William Randolph Hearst, and then DuPont had other investments.
Biodegradable plastics, when you burn cannabis oil as fuel, it doesn't make the carbon acid in the air like when you burn oil.
Dave, thank you as always. I know we'll hear from you again, and I appreciate your call here tonight. That's Dave in Montana, calling us on Skype, by the way. Sounded great. Thank you. Dave in Montana, longtime caller on Free Talk Live. Very memorable.
Yeah, it's hard to. It sounds like kind of like Rocky.
Yeah,
or,
he's got one of those voices.
Chong kind of thing. Yeah.
Rocky combined with Cheech and Chong. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, longtime caller, one of our favorites, I think. Toll free number here 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us, 855-450-3733. New Jersey Weedman story we started in the first hour of the show. has been let out of jail after being found not guilty of so-called witness tampering. NJ.com has a decently written piece here about his story. Can he get some sort of compensation, they ask. Well, it's complicated.
It is complicated.
New Jersey has a system for prison inmates who are convicted at trial and were later exonerated to recover money for their time spent incarcerated. But for pretrial prisoners who win at trial, it's different, and it usually involves a lawsuit. Richard J. Fushino Jr., a criminal defense attorney in Philadelphia, said that people detained pretrial have very few options. Unless they can prove that they shouldn't have been charged in the first place, then their pretrial detention was court-ordered and is completely legal, regardless of the verdict, said the attorney. He said further, but I'd be very surprised if he was actually going to recover anything. But he does have real damages, 400-plus days in jail. We'll tell you more on his case, and you can share your thoughts with us. It's Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Saturday edition of the program. As always, you're invited here to join us on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, want to make sure you know about Liberty.menu. We've teamed up with Liberty.menu, which is a relatively new website. It started about a year ago, actually. It was the summer of 2017 during the Porcfest when this thing pretty much got its launch. And we came on board to help out officially earlier this year because it's a great site, and it's finally here. A website where you, as a liberty-minded person, libertarian, a voluntarist, whatever you call yourself, if you believe that if you're an individual who rejects the initiation of force and you agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you qualify to use Liberty.menu. You can list your business or businesses, the things that you do, the services, the products that you provide, if you're a liberty-friendly person, so other liberty-minded folks can see that. And it's basically a business directory, global business directory for liberty-minded folks. Also, it's got events listings. It's got digital content listings. So it's not just business. It's different types of listing types over at Liberty.menu. You can, of course, rate and review as one of the users of the site. So whether you're a business owner or not, maybe you're just somebody looking for a service or a product that's run by libertarian types, this is the site to go to. It's easy to use, it's pretty, it looks good, and it's free. So you can go there, create your account, and just start listing your things that you do there so other people can find you, and then maybe you'll get some new business out of it. You know, there's nothing to lose. Go to Liberty.menu tonight when you get the chance. Not while you're driving, but when you get back home.
Please don't.
If you want to connect with other libertarians in the world of business, or again, if you're an events coordinator or digital content creator, get on over there, Liberty.menu. And if you want, you can use code FTL on your profile there, and you'll get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. As we go to Matt, he's in Virginia, listening in Lynchburg to WLNI FM. Hello, Matt.
Hey, guys. I appreciate you taking my call. I think
sir.
this is about the third time I've called.
Welcome.
And,
Welcome back.
I just really wanted, first off, I just want to tell you, I disagree with a lot of what you guys say.
Well, you're not the only one, pal.
Yeah. But this call is actually a compliment. I've listened to radio from New Jersey to Houston, Texas, every state in between. And I can tell you over the years, talk radio has been my hobby. More and more radio stations are not taking calls. If you if you listen to national propaganda radio, try calling into any of those shows. Forget about it. You'll never get in. You'll never find a number to call. They do not accept any opposing opinion. They just filter everything out, and that's what media is becoming.
Yep.
And young people today aren't listening to FM radio. I hate to tell you. The only stations that are going to survive are the ones that allow people to challenge ideas, give feedback.
Yeah.
Because there's people anymore today, they can't give an opposing opinion anywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned NPR, but look at the conservative shows, too. They're the same way, right?
Exactly.
You can't get on Rush Limbaugh.
You better believe it. No, you cannot. Doug Stephan, he used to take calls. Now he doesn't take calls anymore.
Really?
They're just blocking out any kind of opposing ideas. And you guys, I've never heard any show that takes so many opposing views like you guys. And I hope
if we didn't take opposing views, whose views would we take?
Yeah, you need to become nationally syndicated.
Good news is we are.
That's the future of talk radio. Those are the shows that are going to survive.
So the good news, Matt, is we are nationally syndicated. We're not based out of Lynchburg, so we're actually in New Hampshire, and WLNI is a longtime affiliate there in Lynchburg. We're glad to be on.
Keep spreading, because that's what we need.
Thank you. Well, here's what you can do
ideas.
For anybody out there who, and like you said, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. If you enjoy this show, okay, if you enjoy the show, you can contact. If you're hearing us on the radio already, then take a moment during the week, during the business week, and either send an email or make a phone call to the local radio station that airs the show and ask for the program director and just say something nice about Free Talk Live. Say, hey, thanks for airing Free Talk Live. I really enjoy it, or whatever. And say, I'd like to hear more of it because, for instance, some of our stations like WLNI, they don't carry us every single night. And this show is a 7-night-per-week show. So if they wanted to, if they felt like their listeners were demanding it, they might just decide to take more Free Talk Live if you folks ask for it.
Yeah, and besides, I mean, obviously, people agree and disagree with every show out there, but Free Talk Live is a format deviation for most stations, especially when it comes to philosophy. There's no station out there that has our philosophy because we're pretty niche. But
that's true.
Yeah, so we get people that are very upset about some things we said. Tonight on the air, we just said that marijuana ought to be legal for anybody
That's
to
not
use.
that controversial anymore.
There are people who are listening to the radio, warming up their dialing fingers for Monday morning so that they can talk to a program director.
You think that still happens?
It happens.
I've never had a program director tell me in recent years, oh yeah, so when somebody called me and complained that you guys want to legalize pot.
I'm just
now
saying.
Legalizing heroin. Now that might still get somebody to call angrily to a program director. But your point is, Mark, somebody's more likely to call out of anger to a program director than they are to call and say something nice to them. So when you call and say something nice, it stands out. It really does.
And it doesn't mean you have to agree with our opinion on anything. You could just agree with the fact that we stand here, we take these calls and allow people to get on and voice a different opinion. And hopefully we don't treat them like jerks.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share, Matt?
Well, it's just the media is becoming scary because everything is so much programming and it's so blocked and just limited. It's refreshing to have a show where there's an exchange of ideas.
That's what I would say to the program director. That was perfect right there. It's refreshing to have a show with an exchange of ideas. Hey, thanks, Matt. I do appreciate it, man. And thanks for the call tonight. Because I like calls where we don't agree. We don't want to talk to the choir here. I mean, I like it when libertarians call to tell us cool things they're doing, but that hardly ever happens. So whenever
to discuss something new, new minutia of libertarian thought or
That's
whatever.
Fine too.
Notice when Vernon called earlier this evening, he wanted to talk about, in a more liberty-oriented world, how would this thing work or how would that thing work? And I'm fine to take those calls. Sure. I like taking those calls, but it's really
Vernon was a challenging call. He wasn't just toting the line.
What I look forward to personally from a call is somebody who's going to make me think.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully I'm open to these things. It's been a couple of weeks since I had one of those calls, but I did have one relatively recently. And, it's like I had to back off of a position that I had previously. So
they say you're not supposed to do that in talk radio.
I don't care what they say in talk radio. What you're supposed to be in talk radio is authentic, right?
That's not what they say.
Right.
The rules of talk radio say you're supposed to have a position and you hold that position forever, no matter what anybody ever says to you about it.
Yeah, I don't really
stupid.
I don't really care about that. What I care about is authenticity.
Right.
I think that people want to hear from somebody on the radio who's not treating them like a jerk and is authentic in their beliefs.
Let's be clear. If you treat us like jerks, you're going to get it back.
It could at some point.
Yeah.
At some you can call names over a period of time, and at some point or another, I'm going to crack.
Yeah.
Because frustrating people get dealt with in a manner that frustrated people deal with frustrating people.
But if you're respectful, then you're going to get respect because we respect by default here on Free Talk Live. Respect everybody's viewpoint, even if we disagree with it, because you are free to express it here. Even if we disagree vehemently. And we may be vehement in our disagreement, but that's okay. It's talk radio.
Me not agreeing with you doesn't mean that I think that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you haven't got a chance to explain yourself. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means I don't agree. That's all.
New Jersey Weedman will give you more on his case. It's a victory, if you want to call it that, after he spent 400-plus days in jail for it. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up. 855, 450 free.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Overburdened with material comforts, America's wealthy can expect another disappointing holiday this year. As Brian Scott tells us, the rich will simply be buying too many things to experience the true meaning of Christmas.
All across the country, those at the top of the economic ladder are denied a privilege that the poorest of the poor take for granted. Rather than fall victim to the rampant consumerism that seems to increase each year, the poor find meaningful joy in simple Christmas traditions, like singing carols to keep warm and hugging relatives who have not yet died. At stores like these, the spiritually bereft must scramble for popular holiday toys in a vain attempt to duplicate the Christmas-time happiness that the impoverished enjoy.
Poor people are grateful for just a roof over their heads or something to eat. My wife and I are both lawyers, so that's not enough for us. I certainly hope poor people don't take what they don't have for granted.
This is the Onion News Network.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want, if you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
So a good night's sleep is important, and when it comes down to it, it's not about how much time you spend in bed. It's the quality, not the quantity of the sleep we get. And I can tell you, if I spend too much time in bed, that's a bad thing. MyPillow is designed to help you get a good night's sleep with a 60-day money-back guarantee. You've got virtually nothing to lose. You can go to MyPillow.com and get 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price, and you get free shipping on all orders when you use promo code FTL. Now, is it true, Mark, that I had heard that Daryl said that the code is no longer good on one pillow?
I believe that's the case.
Okay. And if you don't like the MyPillow, you do have 60 days to return it for a refund of your purchase price. That's MyPillow.com with promo code FTL for 2 MyPillows for the price of for one low price. So wait, is it 2? I haven't gone to do this yet. Mark, have you?
Yeah, it's one price for 2 pillows, and it's a discounted price. So
Discounted
you
price.
just go to mypillow.com, use coupon code FTL, and that makes it easier.
Got it. So it's not half off.
I think it's two. I think it's about the 2-for-1 price, but they're just not doing the half off one pillow.
I see.
And you get you get a 60 days to figure out whether you want it or not, so it's worth it. I've bought these for my in-laws, for my mother. Just everybody on the Christmas list basically has gotten my pillows because this is just a great gift. It's a great pillow. Not only does it hold your head and neck in the right position, but you can wash all those horrifying dust mites out of the pillow, which you can't do with anything else.
All right, toll-free number tonight, 855-450, free like freedom. As we continue here, we started the show out tonight with the update on New Jersey Weedman, and unfortunately, he spent more than 440 days in jail pre-trial, and then ultimately was found not guilty. And so now the question that New Jersey or NJ.com is asking in their article here as well, is there anything he can do about this? And according to an attorney, probably not.
Probably not.
Because it was a pretrial confinement ordered by a judge, unless they can make the argument that the charges never should have been brought in the first place, which maybe they can, there's very little recourse that they're going to have here. And there's more. According to the story, the attorney said that immunity rules mean that Fortune cannot sue the judge who ordered him to be detained, nor the prosecutor who presented the case to the grand jury and argued it at trial.
This is a real problem with the American judicial system, and frankly, governments around the world, is the idea that a person can act and not have responsibility for those actions.
Well, that's because it's not the person, Mark. They are the state.
Yeah, the state is an imaginary organization, and if I act as part of a corporation, I can be held criminally liable.
Well, they're a corporation that is not liable for its actions.
Right. They're the corporation that writes the rules.
Yep.
And traditionally, the people that write the rules don't follow them. That's been a problem for 9,000 years, the 9,000-year history of the state, and it's something that needs to be addressed. Today, in the 21st century, when we have the internet, we understand that man is fallible, that there is no divine right of kings, that all these other things are true, then yes, we can hold people responsible for their actions, even if they're acting on behalf of the government. Because, well, yeah, people who are responsible for their actions act differently than people who are not responsible for their actions. Some might even go so far as to say people who are not responsible for their actions legally act irresponsibly.
He would have to sue the police department and municipality where he was charged and claim civil rights violations and malicious prosecution. And to succeed, he would have to prove there was no probable cause for the arrest in the first place, which could be hard to do given the fact the grand jury indicted him and at least part of one jury thought there was evidence to convict. Quote, you have to get over that hump, there's no probable cause. He said, the issue isn't whether the person's guilty, since that's for the jury to decide. It's just about whether he should have been in court in the first place. The attorney said it would almost have to rise to the level of prosecutorial improper conduct or a complete fabrication without evidence, Fucino said. It's possible that the municipality will want to settle that suit, so he could collect some cash that way, said Fucino.
That often is how it goes.
But it's too late for him to argue that he was denied a speedy trial or that the Bail Reform Act violated his rights by not giving him an opportunity to pay a cash bail.
There needs to be an additional Bail Reform Act.
Theoretically, Fortune could file suit against the state, arguing that its bail reform laws that made detention without bail an option violate his civil rights. On Friday afternoon, again, he was just released Thursday evening at his closed eatery on East State Street in Trenton, NJ Weedman's Joint is what it's called. Fortune alternately greeted supporters again while he spoke to the media. As he did, many who were just walking by and stopped to shake his hand and welcome him home. Fortune said he will seek damages in his pretrial jail time, but he's going to do it by amending an existing federal lawsuit that he's already filed against the Trenton police and some officers who gave him several tickets related to his restaurant, which he suspects may have led to the 2016 drug investigation and his first arrest. You may recall they raided his church and his restaurant and arrested like a dozen of his friends or his employees, associates that were there, all on the premise that they had an undercover agent who had gone in there, an informant, that had smoked marijuana. Ooh. And that was their excuse, right? Like, oh, you've got marijuana here and illegal, and we're going to get you. And then Ed outed that person. He identified who the undercover person was,
right?
And he outed that person, and that's where this supposed witness tampering charge came from. So Fortune says that's
not witness tampering.
Fortune, well, he sent him a letter or something. But anyways, that starts Tuesday, Fortune said, as people repeatedly nudged joints into his hand. He's flying to Atlanta to meet with one of his civil rights attorneys about the amendment, he said, and he's also hinted he's got some outside financial support headed his way. Using the federal system to fight a state system has been done before. Not long after New Jersey's bail reform charges went into effect in 2017, a federal class action lawsuit funded by players in the bail bonds industry and started with when a Camden County man ordered to wear a GPS ankle bracelet after a bar fight argued that his right to post bail is enshrined in the 8th Amendment to the federal Constitution. The federal judge denied a request to roll back the bail reform changes. Fortune already has another suit at the state level against the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, who led the drug raid that led to the marijuana dealing charges and then the witness tampering allegations in 2017. But Fortune says he's lost faith in the state judicial system. It doesn't mean he won't try in any avenue there. He says, I'll fight a jaywalking ticket. Because he's had a jury find him not guilty now at least twice that I recall. And so he truly is a jury nullification.
Does he speak on his own behalf, or is this with an attorney? How's that go?
He has spoken on his own behalf before. I'm not sure who handled this particular case for him.
Because they say that the man who represents himself has both a fool and a client, whatever, the client and an attorney for as a fool.
That's what attorneys say.
Yeah, that's what attorneys say, and it's a
because they want you to hire them.
But
on here.
I think it's largely true. I don't think it's always true.
Going on. Meanwhile, Fortune said he intends to reopen his restaurant, hopefully by July 1st. And he still has the marijuana dealing charges for which he's been indicted. So it's not over yet. He's going to trial for that case, too. And again, he's issued a personal challenge for Mercer County Prosecutor Angelo Onfrey to try the case himself. He said he's beaten 2 assistant prosecutors and wants to topple the top prosecutor.
This is ridiculous.
That case, he says, relies solely around the informant he was accused of intimidating, and he's won twice at trial. Fortune said the prosecutor's office specifically sent the man into his restaurant, quote, with a mission to entrap me, unquote. And I talked to Ed briefly today, and he hopefully will call us at some point with the latest on what's going on with his case. But as you might imagine, he's a busy guy.
High demand. Yeah. He's got a lot of things to do right now.
Let's go to Robert. He is in Vermont on our Discord line. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi, guys. How you doing tonight?
Hey, good.
Great. Hey, I just wanted to say, hey, it was good to hear from Dave from, what was he, from Minnesota?
From Montana. Dave in Montana.
Montana. Yeah, and it was good to hear from him. I don't think he calls in enough, but it was definitely good to hear from him. And I wanted to kind of reinforce what he was saying, about the things that, what hemp can do.
Let's talk about it. Hang on, Robert. We're going to bring you back for that in moments. More with that, hemp. Of course, you're welcome to share your thoughts with us on whatever's on your mind in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are coming up. 855-450-FREE is our number. 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in here toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And don't forget, if you support what we do here on Free Talk Live, please become a Free Talk Live amplifier for $5 a month. That's all it costs for you to get behind the show and help us get on more new radio stations around the country. We added a new station this week, actually a couple of them, because a couple of our existing stations came on board with what they call FM translators in the business, which means that longtime AM stations are now getting on FM with a signal, which is very exciting for us because, you know, we love FM talk radio. It's where we started this show way back in Florida back in the day.
Yeah, the reality is if you want younger listeners,
that's where they are.
FM's the place to be.
Yep. So if you want to help us get on more stations, we're up to 192, which is another record for Free Talk Live. If you want to get us...
I didn't even know that, yeah.
Yeah, if we want to get us up to 200, then please become an amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com. And you'll get some cool perks as well, like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only the Discord chats, which I fixed this week, so now they actually work, and you can actually go in and talk to people.
A perk that works. How nice.
And so that's something you get. Then you also get the Free Talk Live badge on the Free Talk Live forum. There's an AMP-only Facebook group for those of you still on Facebook. So head on over to amp.freetalklive.com, and you can get started there for $5 a month with any of the, well, not any credit card, but Visa and MasterCard, supposedly American Express, although I don't think anybody's ever tried it to see if it actually works. But in addition, you can use Bitcoin Core or PayPal to get signed up for your AMP subscription. Go to amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. We sure do appreciate it. In fact, some of those AMP dollars will be sending us to Talkers, the new media. Well, they used to call it the New Media Seminar. It's not really called
It's just
that
called
anymore.
Talkers 2018.
Yeah, it's just Talkers. The talk radio, that's the major talk radio publication, really the only one standing.
You could call it Talkers
at this point.
NYC. They call it that too.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the yearly gathering that they have of talk radio professionals, and we go to these things. We've been there. This is, I think, going to be our 13th year or something like
really?
that. Yeah, we started in 2005 because we went to one before we moved to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe it was 2006 because that would have been before. So this might be our 12th year. But either way, it's been a long time. So we're a fixture at this particular event. A lot of people know who we are now, whereas, the first time we were there, nobody knew who the hell Free Talk Live was. Now, Free Talk Live is the longest-running nighttime talk radio show. The show in our day part that has been in syndication longer than any other show in our day part in talk radio. That's us.
Yep.
We've just been around longer than the rest of the competition at this point. That's how easy it is to make it in talk radio. Just stick to it and keep calling talk radio stations.
Yeah, these events are great because they allow program directors from radio stations around the country to find out new things and learn new stuff. I think that there's probably some animosity from station owners thinking, oh, I don't want my program directors going there, but it's ridiculous. They need to go.
So we'll be taking a couple days off for that, but Free Talk Live will continue to be live. Daryl's going to stay here and hold down the fort with some great co-hosts like Chris Reitman and folks. So that'll be happening later on this week. And if you want to help us with all that, please go to the AMP program, join up over at amp.freetalklive.com. Back to Robert in Vermont, where they are 1 month away from legal cannabis, the ability to grow personal amounts of cannabis, the ability to consume, obviously, and to even gift cannabis to other people. They haven't yet legalized sales in Vermont, but it's still a big step in the right direction. And Robert, you wanted to comment on hemp, which of course is a related topic, so go ahead.
Right. It was a few months back I called in and I talked about this guy that is over in Canada that he built this the world's first plane made from and powered by cannabis.
Made from cannabis.
Right.
That sounds like something out of a Cheech and Chong movie.
Yeah, it sounds like you write the letters in the sky and everybody in the city gets stoned.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if that's the case or not, but
I suspect
the thing that's interesting about this story is in reading this, it mentions the fact that hemp is 10 times stronger than steel.
Wow.
And that's exciting.
Must be some way of making like a resin or something, but all right.
Probably.
Yeah, but the thing that's really exciting about this is that, even though that Trump has, raised the tariffs on steel and all that kind of stuff, hemp could be the one that solves all of these, our steel problem. Because it's an endless supply of hemp.
It's true.
And the thing, other thing too, is that you could make guns. You could make
hemp guns,
automobiles.
Is that a thing?
Well, people use this term stronger than steel, and it means a few different things. Sometimes it means tensile strength. Sometimes it means flexibility. Like there's different things. So just because it says stronger than steel doesn't mean that it can be used in place of steel.
I do want to see a hemp gun, though. I think that'd be awesome, and it would really throw the hippies for a loop, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. And yet the final thing I'll say is that
I say that as a bit of a hippie myself. Anyway, go ahead.
There's still a lot of people that are out there that are naive about marijuana and hemp.
Sure.
And I think that the best thing to do is you gotta keep talking about it. Don't be ashamed of marijuana. Don't be ashamed of hemp. Keep talking about it. Keep talking.
Yep. Well, that's one thing you can count on us to do. Robert, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you and appreciate the encouragement. And he's absolutely right about that. And in addition, people who aren't traditionally seen as cannabis users, those are some of the most important people who can talk about it. If you can get a business owner in a suit in front of a panel of politicians, if they're considering legalizing it, for instance, in your state, you trot some business owners in there who are, can tell these people, hey, I own such and such business. It's been here. You know this business. It's been here in Concord, New Hampshire for 50 years, and I've been smoking cannabis for all 50 years of it.
Please come raid my home.
That's not
at the very least they can say
hold on. That is not going to be probable cause for a raid of that person's home. I'm sorry. And you should not be trying to scare people out of doing this, Mark, because we've seen people go in front of these folks and testify in these ways before, and nobody's had their home raided about it. So please stop spreading fear,
People have had
uncertainty,
their homes
and doubt.
raided. It doesn't necessarily happen in that manner or another. Look, I mean, yes, I think what you're saying is true, but the tide's turning. Look, the politicians, there's no point in convincing politicians at this point. Hey, if you're a politician out there and you haven't legalized marijuana in your state, you're a jerk. You're an a-hole. The fact
Or a
is,
dummy.
Right, all of that tax revenue that's going into Colorado and Vermont and Washington, D.C. and Washington, just think how you're serving your constituency. Seriously? This is how you treat people who voted for you? You don't allow them to grow a plant? I'm not going to appeal to you people anymore. I don't smoke marijuana, but you're a bunch of idiots. I mean, I'm just sick of it.
I understand.
You don't have to grovel in front of morons.
Well, I
you
understand
tell
what you're
morons
saying.
that they are what they are. Sorry.
I understand where you're coming from, Mark. Unfortunately, you don't work in the State House, and you don't really understand how things work there. The fact is, you got to persuade these people.
Yeah, you have to persuade politicians. Yeah. But the problem is with society generally is we spent time trying to convince liars and thieves.
Yeah.
These people are liars and thieves.
Some of them. A lot of the people in New Hampshire are just kind of average folks.
New Hampshire doesn't count. It has the most ineffective legislative process in the country. I'm talking about politicians nationwide.
That's true.
They are known.
Lawyers.
Like, politician is synonymous with liars and thieves.
For sure.
If somebody is not a liar and a thief, that is a politician, they are simply in a den of liars and thieves.
That's true. I'm not going to deny it.
They are a normal person who is in a den of liars and thieves.
Yeah.
Now, they may or may not believe in marijuana legalization while in that den of liars and thieves, but I would appeal to that person to listen to a little bit of reason. Just go ahead. Before you vote no, before you vote the status quo, consider that marijuana hasn't even been illegal for 100 years. That marijuana being legal is the status quo, and that illegal is something new and modern.
I was just thinking about the hemp gun idea. Do you think that they have like a hemp resin for 3D printers? Because
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, they've got like hemp resin, right? You were talking about that.
Yeah.
That's a thing, and I don't know how 3D printers all work, but the idea is there's some sort of thing that you pour, the machine.
Everything
builds.
I've heard about a gun is you still need a firing pin.
A metal firing pin.
Yeah.
There's the Liberator.
Made out of steel.
But the Liberator is the first 3D printable gun that came out several years ago now at this point, and it's like a one-shot gun. It's not intended to be used more than once generally, or you're like a high risk of blowing your hand up. So keep that in mind. You need to do your research if you want to build one of these things. But is it possible that there's already like a hemp thing that you could load into, like a cartridge or whatever, that you load into one of these 3D printers?
If there's a 3D printer that does things with hemp, that 3D printer has already printed a gun. I mean,
a hemp gun.
It's like what's the porn rule on the internet?
Rule 34.
Rule 34. Rule 35 is if it's possible to make something, somebody will make a gun from it.
It's a good chance of it. All right, out of time tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow for the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live, because we do this thing 7 nights a week. And you can join us online between now and then over at freetalklive.com. Don't forget to hop in our Discord, where the chat continues over at discord.lrn.fm. Have a great weekend. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Questioning Authority is next.